Hey guys, so we're about to discuss what happens when you kill the entire Order of the Ancients in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. If you're not sure, the Order of the Ancients, that's the main goal of the game outside of the main story quest. And from this blurred screenshot, so you don't have any spoilers, you can see I only have a couple of them left. And I'm going to take you through tracking down all of the last Ancients to kill. But before we get into any of that, to make sure that I satisfy your guys' curiosity, we're going to see me killing the last one first, down here in Hamptonshire, so that we can take a look at immediately what do you get for killing all of these people. Here's a little tip. Excalibur, you'll see me use against all of these Zealots. It's actually not very good. It doesn't blind them. I would recommend using different weapons, especially if you're on very hard like I am. If you're looking for tips, Brush with Death is the #1 skill to get when you're fighting Zealots. That's that skill that slows down time when I do a perfect dodge. The Harpoon Impalement, level 2, is the #1 ability to go against Zealots. As you can see, it really helps disrupt their momentum. And there you see that Excalibur doesn't blind them at all. And here we go. He's finally dead, so let's look at the tab again and blur it out, just to confirm this is really the last of the Order of the Ancients. So what do we get? We get a level up, and immediately Ubisoft Connect lets me know that I completed a core challenge, so that's great. And then we get an Order of the Ancients medallion, some rations, and a legendary rune. That's not very much. That doesn't seem like a lot. And as with most things in this game, you actually have to do other stuff in order to finish the quest, in order to get everything that you can get from completing that. So, for a second, I'm going to take you through the different types of Zealots, because you're going to have to kill 16 of them. And some tips for how to get them. First off, go to a general area and do the only thing that Sunan is good for in this game, and look around. Sunan is the only way that I was able to actually find all of the Zealots, because their little icons pop up on the map and you can immediately mark them and just run over there. So here's the first Zealot on our list, Kola. He's Zealot type 1, the Great Sword. This is the Zealot type that I would say is the second hardest out of all of them, just because they have such a long range and their attacks are really sweeping. They're a bit harder to dodge, and they get into a much better rhythm than I've seen the other Zealots get into. So, in order to really beat them, #1 tip is disrupt their rhythm. You can use the Harpoon ability, you can use Wrath of Helheim, you can use Dive of the Valkyries. Pretty much any of your adrenaline abilities will be better served just disrupting rhythm than they would to actually do damage on these guys.
With me, brother.
Also, if you can, get Grit. That's that ability that slowed down time instead of me dying. And I know you've heard this before in one of my other videos, but do everything you can to try and make sure that you're fighting the Zealot one-on-one. It's really annoying and distracting to have other soldiers around. So So you see, we get rations, Order of the Ancients medallion, and a weapon rune from pretty much every zealot that we kill. So it doesn't change even if you're killing the very last one.
Somewhere around.
So here's Zealot type number 2.
Oh, my eyes.
This is definitely the hardest Zealot type out of all of them. These are the Sword and Shield Zealots, specifically the Great Sword and Shield Zealots. The reason they're so hard is, number one, that kite shield, it can't be taken down by heavy attacks the way you can with regular soldiers. So you have to rely on adrenaline to disrupt them like the other Zealots as well. They're especially hard because one of their weak spots for a bow is actually their hand that's holding their shield. So if you have the ability to slow down time with the bow, definitely equip it and use it. As you can see, I don't have it equipped.
Beat your lap!
Again, I can't emphasize enough how much brushing with death helps. Shield Zealot down. Let's go on to the next one. So here's another place you can find a Zealot, approximately in Oxenfordshire.
Somewhere up here.
And this is our Zealot type 3, the Danax Zealot. I strongly recommend for these unshielded Zealots, especially the Danax ones, start it out with the stun attack. Do you see how much damage that did to him? And this is on very hard difficulty. These guys are, in my opinion, the easiest of the Zealots, just because it's pretty easy to dodge their attacks, and I get through this fight taking barely any damage. Here's another one, also in Oxenfordshire. Brings us to type number 4. The Spear Zealot. These guys are a lot harder than they seem. They don't have a shield and they're not big like the other ones, but you'll see they dodge a lot more than any other Zealot. For these guys, I would recommend either Danaxes or Great Swords, not spears, not daggers, because of how much they dodge in a circle around you. It's going to be hard to hit them if you don't have a nice arc. Also, just in general, if you're using bearded axes or hammers, you're not doing yourself any favors fighting any of these Zealots, just because of their poor reach, with the exception of the blacksmith hammer, which can knock down most of these Zealots on a heavy hit, and Varen's axe, which raises your speed.
Just keep using that adrenaline.
Here's a bonus tip. Whenever you see one of these patrols, just know that if you're in a place where tungsten ingots is the level of that place, here's a place to get some free tungsten ingots, or carbon, or nickel. As you can see, you just kill the little guy, and then you get your ingot and some free titanium. So here's the meat of our video. Once you have killed all of the Order of the Ancients, you'll notice there's one left on your menu. And when you come back to Ravensthorpe, Hytham is not in his home. He's out in front of the Longhouse.
Nothing
So don't
strange about a
panic.
summons for me,
Just go
is
to the
there?
Longhouse,
It is not the
and he will
recipient I
present
find
you with a new
strange.
quest.
It is the sender.
In order to
Let it
avoid
assign the
spoilers
poor
on
fellow
this next
soldier of
part,
Christ.
I'm not going to show
our
you who the
mysterious
last
partner.
person is,
For a
and I'm
short
not
time,
going
I
to show
hoped
you
it might
where
be
it is,
Basim
but I
feeding us the
will
names
show
of these
you
targets.
after
He seemed
you
the most
get
likely man
the
for a
last
time.
Order of the
Only
Ancient
one way to discover
medallion,
the truth.
you get treated to some
Thank
of
you,
the
Hytham.
coolest music in this whole
I'll
game.
take care of
Here's a
this.
preview.
Push that.
Honestly, the first time I heard that, it took my breath away.
Here you are, Hytham.
But here we are,
The last
finally
of the
giving
Order
Hytham
sigils.
all of the Order sigils. But what do we get? Thor's cape. So, if you follow my other videos and get Thor's set, you will now have the complete battle armor of Thor that you can wear into battle. While this armor is great, it's not my favorite. I tend to favor the Thane set and the Berserker set more just because they fit my playstyle better with their bonuses. But it is a bear type armor, so it can take a beating. Some of you may have guessed as well, once you have Thor's complete battle armor, that unlocks Mjolnir for you. So if you go to this spot in Hordafylke in Norway,
Hot with rage. She slew her father and fled back to her ship, then set a swift sail for the Uriah.
you'll find Mjolnir at that spot. Mjolnir is a fantastic weapon. It stuns in a large radius on random hits. I've found it's especially potent to use with the blacksmith's hammer because the blacksmith's hammer will knock down enemies, including bosses, well, bosses that can be knocked down on heavy hits. This weapon does a lot of damage, and admittedly, it does get a little bit old to keep pressing the button to do those special stun kills because there's no variation in the animation. It's a lot easier to just kill him with straight hits. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it's helpful to you to learn what is the Order of the Ancients quest for, what happens when you kill all of them. I'd really appreciate a like and a subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys later.